Yo, what's going on, guys? Today is the day that I finally make the Halloween Ends review spoiler, giving my review, giving spoilers, breaking the movie down, just overall giving my opinions. Today is finally that day. Now, I tried to do a video yesterday. I actually already was doing it, but I had a lot of issues yesterday when I tried to, um, well, first of all, the video was like every time I would screen record, it would accidentally swipe up and then it would you know, what's it called? It would just like show my like setup, instead of showing like the pictures that I have, on the screen record, you know, and I don't know why it would do that. And then eventually I also got busy as well, so then I had to end my video. I don't know, it was just annoying. So yeah, I was actually gonna make the Halloween Ends video review yesterday, but I didn't have time, and but now I'm finally gonna do it, and hopefully you guys enjoy. Hopefully you guys enjoy this review. Let me know what you guys think about this movie in the comments below. Like and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Before I get into it, because it really does, just help out the channel. So if you guys can like and subscribe, I would really appreciate that. And I'm gonna give my thoughts and opinions, and it's gonna be an interesting one because I know this movie over the weekend. People have already seen it. There's people who have even seen it like from the previews, even before it came out officially on Friday. I watched it on Friday on Peacock, and yeah, and throughout this past weekend, nothing but divisive opinions I can tell from this movie. And I'm just gonna give my opinions on this movie and kind of like break some scenes down in the movie as well. So this is gonna be a long one as well. So anyone who's watching this, you know, buckle your seatbelts because it's gonna be a long ride. But yeah, we're gonna get right into it. So Halloween Ends. What did I think of Halloween Ends? Halloween Ends to me was kind of a mid movie, in my opinion. And you know, what's it called? Like, I know there's, fans who are kind of like, they're it's they're on different sides of the fence. Some fans really like this movie, they enjoyed it. Um, and then there's the other side of the fans that, they didn't. And then there's fans like me who are in the middle. Um, and I just think that, I'm gonna give my positives for this movie. My positives for this movie is the opening scene where we get introduced to Corey Cunningham, and he's babysitting this kid Jeremy. And I was really intrigued, about Corey's character, what he was going to be, because before the movie had even came out, there was a whole bunch of theories about him, which I'm sure you guys already know about. I mean, like, I was just intrigued to see what his character would actually be in the movie. So when I saw him in the opening scene, I was like surprised. And I was pretty down with it. I liked the opening scene, how they built suspense, and just the tension, and I felt in the opening scene. And just like getting to know Corey, and how just from those little minutes, you got to get kind of engaged with this character. And I just like the way the opening scene was, like, just fleshed out, I guess, in general. And it takes a big left turn whenever this next thing that I'm gonna show you guys in this picture happens. Because, bro, whenever I saw it for the first time, I was literally in shock. I was literally in shock. I was like, I didn't even know what to even say. Like, I was literally like just jaw dropped. Like my I was literally just stunned seeing this. Basically, the kid Jeremy accidentally dies because he plays a prank on Corey, and you guys can see the picture here. You know, he's like dead, and the all the blood is on the ground. Um, Literally, the kid, you know, because he played a prank on Corey. Corey tried to break out of the door. The kid fell, and you know he got hit by the door. He went swinging, and he like tumbled over the railing, the stair railing, and he fell all the way from up there. Like I don't even know how tall those stairs were, but it was like all the way from the top to the bottom, and he literally died. And when I saw that, I was literally like, bro, what the? Like, I literally did not expect that. And you know, just for that, I really liked this opening scene just because of how much of a shocker it was and how much suspense and tension it built up to this. Um, I really did like this opening scene. And, you know, I think this opening scene was probably one of the best parts of the movie, in my opinion. Um, yeah, you know, I think it was well executed. I really do. But man, I just did not expect that to happen. Jeremy, you know, the kid, like he was babysitting, literally got killed like that. I mean, and it, and the one of the reasons as well that I like this opening scene is because it didn't even have, what's it called? It didn't even have, Michael Myers in it. But the way it was executed, you know, the way Corey's character was fleshed out, the way suspense and tension was built, and just the shock and reaction, you know, from the kid dying like that, bro, you know, I just thought it was just for that, I thought it was a great opening scene. You know, it really was to me. Um, but yeah, that was one of the things I liked about this movie. Another positive I have is the final fight, which I'm not going to get too into until we get to that part, but I'm just going to explain, you know, just some parts of it. Um, but what's it called? You know, just some parts of the movie. And you know, if you guys are still watching at this point, I mean, you guys shouldn't, because I mean, there's the spoilers is literally in the title, but you know, I'm gonna be diving into a whole bunch of spoilers in this movie, so you know, you guys don't watch this video if you guys haven't seen it. Do not watch this video. Go and watch the movie, and then you could come back and watch this video. But I'm gonna be diving into a lot of spoilers, you know, in this video. Gonna get on everything. But in the end, you know, with Michael and Laurie's fight, you know, I did enjoy it. However, I thought the fight was pretty lackluster, in my opinion, because I thought it was pretty rushed. I felt it could have been longer, but I do like the fact that they finally gave a definitive ending to Michael Myers. You know, they finally killed him off and whatnot. You know, I'm glad that they finally, you know, had, you know, the balls to do something like that, because it's, you know, oh shoot, my bad, guys. I was just trying to check the percentage on my phone, but yeah, like, you know, that was something that was never done before. So I was, you know, because of that, I was like, you know, just shocked by that. I did not expect that to happen. Um, and like, you know, I just that was a big shocker to me, just to see, you know, Michael Myers finally take his ending. And I was glad, you know, I liked that. But yeah, you know, the opening scene and, you know, Michael finally, you know, getting killed and whatnot. I those are the two positives I have for this movie. But I felt, and you know, just the fight between him and Laurie as well, even though I felt it was a little rushed, I still liked it. But the rest of the movie, though, I thought it was, in my opinion, a pretty big mess. And you know, like I just felt like, and I'm gonna get into it, you know, like explain, you know, the movie kind of like break down certain things that I had problems with. But I felt, you know, just the rest of the movie was just, it was all over the place. And um, you know, I do like Laurie's character in this movie, you know, just how, you know, she's betrayed. Laurie's like this, you know, normal, happy, you know, just person who's living a normal, happy life. She's, you know, finally. letting the past, behind her and whatnot. And I like that aspect to her character. And the only thing I didn't really like though is just the fact that they kind of brushed over Karen's death. I know they acknowledged it whenever they showed Lori writing the memoir and whatnot. Um, but I felt like they could have at least acknowledged that a little bit more. Maybe see how Lori, maybe Lori like mentions it or talks about it at least a little bit more. Like they could have went more in depth with that. I felt like that was just kind of weird for them to just brush over that. But I mean, overall though, I did like Lori's character. I liked Allison's character. Um, I don't know. I would, because here's the thing. I liked Allison's character at first, but I don't know. Like towards, I guess like more like this, the second half of the movie, like towards the end, like I don't know. Like it's like she completely took a different toll. She's like completely changed, and she became more like annoying and oblivious. And I'm gonna get more into that, but overall, I did like her character. Allison's character, but man, I don't know, man. Like they kind of made her just like just like almost like just like arrogant to everything that happened. Even after everything she's been through. And it just, for me, it just didn't make sense for her to be like that. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna get into that. Um, I like this scene with her and Hawkins in the grocery store where they're talking and whatnot. I thought it was, like I honestly wanted them, and that's this is I'm gonna talk about character development in this movie. In my opinion, character development in this movie was not that great. It was not that great. Um, First of all, you know, Hawkins, Lindsay, where were they in this movie? This scene that we had with him and Lori was great, but why didn't they show him? Why wasn't he more in the movie? Why didn't he have more of a character arc in this movie? It almost felt like there were so many ways that they could have went with this character in this movie, and same with Lindsay. But it's like the few scenes that you get them in. I mean, yeah, it's cool to see them and all, but then you look back and you're like, man, like, was there really any point for them to be in the movie? I mean, like, they really contributed nothing to this movie. We all thought that this movie was gonna be like more, you know, like character driven, and it was to an extent, but not, in terms of developing other characters. It was more so focusing on a new person that we didn't even know about before, which is Corey Cunningham. Um, like we focused so much on him. And it just didn't make sense, for this final chapter of this trilogy, for them to focus this heavily on Corey Cunningham, who's just this random character that we never knew about before. And they just randomly put him in this movie and have like half the focus on him, and they barely develop anybody else. He probably had the most screen time out of everyone in this movie. Like they didn't develop Hawkins, they didn't develop Lindsay. Um, Lori, I liked her character arc, but I wish they would have focused on her more of her and Allison's relationship, and and whatnot. But like I said, none of that really happened because they were focusing on this Corey character that, who came out of left field, you know, for like half the movie basically. And here's the thing about, my opinion on Corey Cunningham. I actually liked the character and where they were going with him at first. But in my opinion, knowing what happens to him at the end of the movie, it almost felt so pointless. It almost felt pointless for you to focus on him half the movie, only for you to like they literally make him off himself, and then Michael comes at the end and finishes the job, snaps his neck, and that's it. And then that's whenever, like, for the last, I guess, 5 minutes of the movie, or 10 minutes, I don't even know. Then that's when they're like, oh, this now we're gonna bring the fans what they really came to see for this, this little bit of time, Michael and Laurie fighting finally, and now we're gonna get into it. But if that's what you were gonna do right afterwards, why would you then, focus on Corey for half this movie if you're just gonna, kill him off like that? It almost felt so pointless and irrelevant to focus on him for this much, only for you to just, do that. Like man, I just like it was just so, it honestly, like, pretty, it annoyed me, to be honest. It really did. Like, and like I said, I liked Corey's character and where they were going with him at first, but man, the direction they take with his character, I did not like. I did not like at all. And it just, I just did not. I was not a fan of it. I was not. And you know, we get introduced to Corey. The whole town thinks of him as a murderer, and he's being picked on by these band kids, and you know, like, we have this love story relationship, this weird love story relationship with him and Allison, which, like I said, I was pretty found on at first, but now looking back, I just felt like, what was the point? What was the point? And it just didn't make any sense to me. I actually, this is gonna sound, a little, I guess, a little cringe, but I actually, felt, Corey and Allison, when I was watching the movie, I felt like they were meant for each other. I felt like they had good chemistry because, I felt like they related to each other in many ways with how they, what they've been through and how the town treats them. And I like their, just their dialogue they had together. Their the just the way, their dynamic, and their character arc. I liked where they were going with that. And I felt like, they were meant for each other. I actually liked their relationship. I felt, I thought Allison finally had someone, a love interest that was actually good. But nope. Nope. Practically everyone Allison has dated was a piece of crap. Basically, there's no other way to put it. I mean, like Cameron, he was a cheater. He was a cheater and a douchebag. We find out that Allison was like dating. She was like, in the past, I guess, somewhat between kills, like somewhat after kills, I guess. Like, she was dating this older weird cop, and who was like stalkerish. He was like really stalkerish and, like, just creepy and weird. Like, and he was a pretty much a douchebag as well. And then Corey, he was a freaking murderer. So I mean, practically everyone Allison has dated was a piece of crap, But I liked Corey and Allison's relationship at first. I liked where they were going, with that, and I thought they were meant for each other. I thought, man, Allison finally has someone who was a good person. But nope, nope. I was far wrong, Um, but yeah, and the town thinks of him as a murderer, and he's being picked on by these band kids, which didn't make sense to me. But especially what happens with him and Michael later on in the movie, which I'll get into, which is probably like the worst part of the whole movie. But yeah, I'll get into it right now, but in a little bit. But man, he literally gets picked on by band kids, um, and you know. but that's the thing though. I actually felt bad for Corey at first, and I thought where they were going with him in the beginning, I felt like, man, I actually, we may be focusing on this character way too much, but I actually like where they're going with him. I actually do like it. Um, and like I said, I felt bad for him. I actually, felt like he was just being misunderstood. The town was literally just picking on him, thought of him as a murderer. They were just like, being a dick to him for no reason. He, goes to, with Allison to this party, and, the mom of the kid Jeremy that Corey was babysitting like a couple years prior, 3 years before that, she was there at the bar and they had an interaction there, and she was like, "Oh, like you killed my son," and she was just yelling and whatnot, and I felt bad for Corey as well because I felt like every time he was having fun, and life started going good for him, something something just had to happen, you know. Something just had to happen. He was finally having a good time at the party, him and Allison, and it just so happened that that kid's mom was there as well, at that bar, and they have a face-to-face encounter there. And Corey leaves, and you know they him and Allison start arguing outside, and he's like talking about how Allison was like, she's treated, even though because Allison was trying to relate to him. She found him relatable, and she felt like there was someone that he was someone that just needed someone to talk to, and she just felt there was a connection with him, and she just, but she felt like she understood him, especially with what she's been through with Michael Myers. Like, and with her mom dying, and her dad dying, her friends, and the town knowing about all this stuff, and the way they look at her, and and then Corey's like, no, but the town thinks of you as a survivor, and they think of me as a murderer, and as his psycho killer, and they think of you as a survivor, so it's not the same, and they just start arguing, and Corey leaves, and he starts walking alone at night, and these punk band kids again, they show up, they start picking on Corey, and they start just messing with him, they break his glasses, you know they start like jumping him, kind of like just pushing him around, they push him over the bridge, and what's it called, and what didn't make sense to me as well is how you know the fact that these kids were literally messing with Corey, and they literally threw him over the bridge, and yet they want to like act like they're any better than Corey, because they're trying to call Corey a psycho killer and all this stuff, but yet you're over here messing with him, and you threw him over a bridge. It doesn't that make you a little crazy? I mean, come on, like you're literally, and it's what, all because he didn't want to buy you a six pack of beer. Like, come on now, and you literally, you know, I don't know, man. Like, just like, I mean, I know that's how it is sometimes. Like, douchebag kids, they that's just how it is. Like they don't care. They just want a reason to just like mess with someone, you know. But like, how are they gonna act like they're any better when like they're literally, picking on him, and they literally threw him over a bridge, um, and practically, in their mind, they, you know, killed him, and yet they act like they're any better, because Corey accidentally killed that kid. Like you're not any better than him by what you just did. But I mean, whatever. I mean, half this town is just dickheads, and they're just freaking assholes. But I mean, like even Lori, like she was being blamed for like that Sandra from Halloween Kills, who somehow survived from that, that glass pull through that she got through her neck. That was brutal. First of all, that was and when I saw that in Halloween Kills, I that was a really creative death for Michael, and you know, yeah, that was a really creative death for Michael. But I just, I just didn't really feel what was the point of bringing her back though. She didn't even get 1 ounce of dialogue. You brought the actor back just for her to be like a couple seconds in a few scenes, and like two scenes in the movie, and just like, just to be there. Basically, you basically just retcon her death, brought her to life somehow, and you tried to like make it seem like, oh, she somehow survived, but she can't speak anymore, and her sister is like, outside the store after, Lori leaves the store, and, she's like smiling and she's just happy. Lori's just living her life, and this lady who was, sisters with Sandra is like, oh, what are you smiling about? Like you're look what Michael Myers did to my sister, like this is all your fault because you're the one that, intrigued him. You're the one that provoked him, and now he came out, and that's why he came out and started killing people, and now he went after my sister, and this is all your fault. Like what? Like, bro, that, and I felt like I understood the social commentary they were trying to do here is that, how people, they tend to, when they think they know what's going on, or when something, a tragedy happens, they try to, blame something or someone because, that's just what people like to do sometimes, like whenever a tragedy happens, they have no one else to blame, so they start pointing fingers, even if they don't know the full story. And that was what they were trying to get across. That was the message they were trying to, portray. But like I don't know, man. I just did it. I just felt like this whole town was just a bunch of dickheads, bunch of assholes. Everyone in this town was just, pieces of shit. I honestly could care less for half of the characters that died in this movie either. I mean, there was barely any kills, in this movie in general, but the people that did die in this movie, I honestly couldn't care less that they died because either I did not know them, or like I said, they were pieces of shit and I didn't really care. And I'm not trying to say that in a mean way, because it's just a movie at the end of the day. But like it's just like half the characters that died in this movie, I just could care less that they died. I just like, and I just felt like they just did really didn't make anyone likable in this movie at all. You know, the the only new character I felt bad for that died was Corey's stepdad, I think. Yeah, I think it was Corey's stepdad. He was the only one I felt bad for that died, because he got accidentally killed by that, that main jock kid that had that Letterman jacket. He had like a shotgun, and he was trying to aim it at Corey, but he accidentally missed, and he shot the stepdad of Corey, and he died. And I felt he was the only character I felt bad for because he was the only one that I felt like he was actually nice. He was the only, in my opinion, the only sane one in this town, and he didn't do anything wrong. He was the only new character that I actually liked. He barely had any dialogue or anything in this movie, but whenever we did see him, he was pretty funny, and he was, you can tell he was pretty supporting towards Corey as well. So I kind of felt bad for him when he died. He didn't do anything. So I mean, it's like he didn't really deserve that. But everyone else in this movie, I could care less if they died. Either, like I said, either I didn't know them, or I just was I could care less because they're just pieces of crap. I just don't. I could care less if they died. So yeah, and I don't know if that's really good necessarily, because when it comes to character development in the movie, I don't necessarily know if that's a good thing. Like I don't know. And then like Michael and Corey have this face and face encounter towards each other and in the sewers, and they lock eyes, and you know they look at each other, and Corey has like flashbacks and whatnot, and then Michael just lets him go. He just lets him go, and Corey escapes and whatnot. And that just didn't. When I saw that for the first time, I was just like, "What? Like, what is this?" Like, because like it just doesn't like. What? First of all, Michael let him live. Like what? That was just like weird. Like first of all, like it just doesn't make any sense. Um, like why would Michael let him live? I mean, I know people are trying to say, "Oh, it's because you know he sympathized with I don't know why I'm getting notifications, but he sympathized with Corey and he saw the evil in him, and that's why he let him live." But like, first of all, I thought Michael was supposed to be pure evil. He's not supposed to have emotions. I don't know why I'm getting so many notifications, man. It's kind of annoying while I'm making a video. But anyways, uh, yeah, it's like comments, and then my family's texting me too. But anyways, like yeah, literally, like the whole thing of like yeah, Corey's just like he's just like being he like sympathizes with Corey. Like why would he sympathize with Corey? That doesn't make any sense. Just because he's evil or because of what he went through. Like Michael's supposed to be pure evil. He's not supposed to sympathize with anyone. Like it just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, like it just does like it really doesn't make any sense at all. Um, wait, hold on. My bad, guys. I don't even know because I keep getting texts and literally it's just kind of annoying. My family keeps texting me, YouTube notifications. Like I can't just ignore them. But kind of sucks that every time I'm making a video, this has to happen. But anyways, yeah, like it just doesn't make sense. Why would Michael sympathize with anyone, Or why would Michael just because someone's evil, like he wants to like all of a sudden like be like, oh yeah, let me let them go. Even though I'm sure he's killed evil people. Well, my AirPods died. But anyways, hopefully you guys can still hear me. And I'm sure you guys can still hear me, but why would Michael sympathize with anyone, you know? Um Hold on guys, I'll be right back cuz I have to do something real quick. All right, my bad, guys. I'm back. I had to go do something. Hopefully you guys didn't get any notifications while I was going on my phone, but yeah, I had to go do something real quick. But yeah, like I just found that weird, and it's almost like they tried to make Michael supernatural in this movie, but also not make him supernatural. First of all, we barely even saw Michael Myers in this movie, and when we did, it felt like barely anything. You know, like we were like what 40 something minutes into the movie, and then we finally saw Michael. And then when we finally do see Michael, we had this like weird encounter with him and Corey. And just, all he does is just stare in his eyes, and then he lets him go. Like, I don't know. I just thought that was weird. And I understand that evil can infect people. Because that's kind of what they were like leaning towards. Like Michael's evil, like infected Corey, or and that Michael's evil can infect people. That's kind of what they were trying to display here, because that's kind of what happened. And with Dr. Sartain in 2018. He kind of like was so like overdriven on this like Michael Myers. You know, just wanting to learn about Michael Myers. Like he was just so obsessed with him that he like literally stabbed Hawkins in the neck, and then he ran over him, and like literally like kind of like it was almost like he became infected with that evil of Michael. And we've seen people like even Jamie from Halloween 4, like when she kills her stepmother, like just like Michael did when he was a kid. And and then she's like holding the scissors and whatnot. And which they go nowhere with that in the next movie. But like they kind of hinted at that kind of stuff before, that Michael's evil can infect people. But I just felt like the way they did it was just so weird. Because first of all, if Michael Myers is not supernatural, why are you trying to humanize him in this movie by making him weak as hell? That makes no sense. And another thing that doesn't make sense to me is that they like is that what's it called? Michael Myers in this movie, they try to like, my bad, guys. They try to imply that Michael Myers gets stronger as he kills, and this is like a big argument. Like these are kind of the arguments that you're seeing right now on Twitter, all over the internet, because this movie is divisive. I mean, like I already said in the beginning, but I mean, like it's very divisive. A lot of people have different opinions on this movie. Some have defended arguments with certain things, but this is something I cannot get past. Like, and this is just me, but you're trying to humanize Michael by making him weak and, all this stuff, but then also trying to imply that he gets stronger as he kills. And I know that was implied by Laurie at the end of Halloween Kills. But here's another contradiction here, though. Literally at the end of Halloween Kills, Laurie is like, oh, yeah, Michael is not just a man. There's no way a mortal man would have survived what he did. He's the pure embodiment of evil. He's not just a regular man. He transcends the more he kills. He feeds off of fear and all this stuff. All this stuff basically. That's what they were trying to explain, all this stuff. That's what they were trying. That's what Laurie said at the end of Halloween Kills. But then at the end of Halloween Ends, Laurie takes off Michael Myers' mask, which I hated, to be honest, because I mean they didn't fully show his face, Michael's face, but they almost showed a little too much, in my opinion. And it just made Michael look so even weaker. They almost made him look even like they try to humanize him in this movie, but also like make him supernatural at the same time, and it just did not make any sense. And Laurie takes off his mask, and she's like, "Oh, you're just a man," and like she's like, "Oh no," like she says something before that, but then she's like, "Oh, you're just a man who's about to stop breathing." She slits his throat. And like that's, but like I said, that's a contradiction to what she said in the last movie though. At the end of Halloween Kills, she's like, oh, he's not just a normal man. There's no way a mortal man would like him would have survived what he did. He transcends the more he kills and all this stuff. But then here, she's like, oh, he's just a man, and all this stuff. So what is he then? Because even the directors, David Gordon Green himself is like, oh, Michael Myers is just a man. He's just a normal human. But this whole trilogy, you've painted him out to be, well, at least in Halloween 2018 and Kills, you painted him out to be this, superhuman force. He's like this monster beast who's like off the leash, going crazy a ham on this town. He was like a tank in these 2018 and Kills. But then in ends, you try to humanize him by making him weak and all this stuff. And he's like over here limping, trying to get help from Corey. Like he needed help from Corey to kill this officer. Like, come on now. Like that was like pretty ridiculous to me, honestly. Like it's one thing to make him weak, but then also have Corey assist him. Be like, oh, like he needs Corey's help. Like, come on now. Like that was just, I did not like that. And then also the fact that, they, like I said, they, it's one thing to like try to make him weak and stuff, but then also, have Corey assist him, like he needs help to kill. Like that doesn't make any sense. But then at the same time, though, you're trying to imply that he gets stronger as he kills. Like he looked like, he looked like bro, like Michael Myers looked like he was like freaking, like he was freaking, I don't even know, bro. Like he was freaking, like, I don't even, like, I don't know. Like Michael Myers looked like he just got electrocuted or something. Like he was literally shaking after he killed that officer in the sewer. He was like, just shaking like crazy. Like what is going on with him? But yeah, like you're trying to humanize him, say he's just a regular human, but then try to imply that he gets stronger as he kills. Like, come on now, like that doesn't make any sense. And then it seems like Corey as well, that evil transcends to him. Michael's evil. Either that or Michael like somewhat influenced that evil to come out of him. Like Corey kind of already had that evil, and like encountering Michael is kind of what brought it out. But still, like they it's like they try to make him supernatural, but at the same time they didn't. This whole trilogy with like trying to, but not like trying to humanize him, but also supernatural at the same time, was just all over the place. This whole trilogy, it's like they just didn't know what they wanted to do with him. Like if you're gonna say he's just a regular man, but then this whole trilogy up until now, you have him be like this tank, and for the first two movies, doesn't make sense. Then in the third movie, like I said, they try to humanize him. Hold on, guys. Yeah, my bad, guys. I keep getting texts from my freaking brother, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, they try to like humanize him. It just didn't make sense. But then they try to make him stronger. And also, here's another thing that doesn't make sense as well, is that Michael Myers. People are trying to say that this is, like I said, these are divisive. This movie is divisive in general, so there's divisive opinions overall, like over this movie, just regardless, but these are certain arguments that are implied with certain people on the internet when it comes to this movies with Michael, him being weak and whatnot. Some people are trying to imply that that, oh, it's because Michael he survived all these injuries and Halloween Kills, and he had no medical attention. But he literally took more damage in Halloween 2018 and Kills. And he literally got up like it was nothing in the moment. Why would it then affect him years later
You would think he would actually heal years later instead of taking more damage. You would think in the moment he would take more damage, and then years later he would heal. But no, it was the opposite. Because in 2018 in Kills, in the moment he's taking all that damage and whatnot, but then he gets up like it's nothing and like completely just killing in 2018, killing, slashing, all that stuff. Nothing being done to him is doing any damage. Then and Kills the same thing. Kills a whole bunch of fighters like it's nothing. Kills a mob, takes a whole bunch of damage from them, like, and gets back up like it's nothing. Kills all of them. And here's another thing that proves that Michael Myers is not just a regular human. I mean, this kind of seems like a weird argument, but like this seems like a weird argument because we've seen Michael be more like a tank before in Halloween Kills, even before he killed Tommy Doyle. But Tommy Doyle, the way he killed him, that right there is what proved to me the most that he's not just a regular human. He literally bashes Tommy Doyle's bat into his face and breaks it in half with just one swing. What? You're telling me this old man, he's just a regular old man, and he was able to do that? Especially after just being shot and beaten to the ground? Nah, bro. There's no way he would have full strength to even do that. And no regular human is going to be able to be strong enough to do that in general. Like, come on, bro. He literally broke that bat in half on Tommy Doyle's face like it was nothing. But then in ends, they try to like make him weak, and like it just doesn't make any sense. And like I said, people are trying to say, oh, it's because like he had no medical attention. He didn't heal over those 4 years. But like I said, I respect anyone's opinions. I'm always free to, agree to disagree. I respect anyone's opinions, but I'm just giving my side of the argument and just my opinions. Respectfully, to those people who say that, like I just feel like that just doesn't make sense though, because, like literally, if that was the case, how is Michael Myers taking all that damage and kills, and yet like in ends, he's like literally in kills, he took all that damage like it was nothing. Then it ends, what, all of a sudden he's weak now. He needed medical attention just to heal. He that damage took a toll on him now. Like, come on now, that doesn't make any sense. And if he was weak, because and like it just doesn't make any sense, because like these same people that use that argument are the same people who also try to say, oh well, it's also because he didn't kill for 4 years. But he literally killed a whole bunch of people in Kills and 2018 combined. At that point, he should have been like, I don't even know, bro. He should have been like a freaking, I don't even know, like a mutant at that point. He like some immortal freaking, like I don't like, bro. He should have been like some, immortal freaking beast at that point. With how many kills he got in 2018 in Kills, like that was, bro, he should have like been at full health at that point. And then another thing is, if Michael Myers needed to kill more to get powerful, why would he just stop then and let himself get to that point where he's like, oh, like why would Michael Myers stop killing for 4 years and let himself get to that condition? That doesn't make any sense. If he's pure evil and he likes to kill and he's this monster and whatnot, why would he stop killing and then let himself get in that condition? That makes no sense. That he could have continued killing for those 4 years and he didn't. He just let himself get to that point. Like if he wanted to, he could have continued killing after Kills, after Halloween Kills, you could have continued killing for those 4 years, But what, you're telling me he didn't though? He just decided to just let himself, get let himself just rot and get weak. And then people are trying to say, oh, it's because he wanted to just quit. He didn't want to do it anymore. But it just doesn't make any sense. If you're trying to say he's pure evil and he's like all this stuff, why would he not want to kill? Then why would he not want to kill? That doesn't bro, I don't know, man. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And then, how oblivious Allison is in this movie. Like, literally, Corey goes and kills, that nurse. No, he kills Dr. Mathis, who, him as well, he was a freaking, he was an asshole as well, and so is that nurse. But Dr. Mathis, we thought he was going to be an important character too, but turns out he wasn't. He literally was just some random doctor who was, getting with that redhead chick that redhead chick also wanted a promotion. So that's why she was going out with him. Like, I don't know, man. Like, this whole setup of, like, trying to develop characters in this movie was, like, so pointless. I mean, they could have gone many directions in this movie with certain characters, and they literally went nowhere. All because they wanted to focus on Corey this whole movie, who literally served no purpose, because in the end, he just offs himself, and then Michael snaps his neck, and that's it. That's it to his character. That's it. Like, come on, bro. Like, right? But yeah, like, he kills Dr. Mathis, though. Corey kills Dr. Mathis, and then Michael Myers is teaming up with Corey. Michael kills the nurse. He pins her to the wall. And I like that kill because, it was an homage to 78. But man, it just like, I don't know, man. The way Michael was in this movie, I just did not like that. And then Allison being so oblivious to her grandma, Lori, who has literally lived through this even longer than her at this point. And even Allison herself has been through so much, and she chooses to just be ignorant and be like, oh, well, I don't care. Like, you're just trying to, take away the only guy I like, and you're just trying to ruin that for me. Like, what? Like, you would think Allison, out of all people, would not be acting like that towards Lori, especially after everything she's been through herself. But, she's literally just like, oh, like she literally is acting like that towards Lori over a guy she barely just met. That's another thing that just did not make sense to me. You barely even knew this guy, Corey, for not even that long. You're telling me you're going to just, like, push Lori away just for this guy that you barely even knew at that point? Like, come on, man. Like, I mean, and I understand Lori was kind of like going a little nuts at that point, but come on, bro. She's literally just, she's literally trying to tell you something. You just, like, slam the door in her face. Like, I just felt like that was just didn't make sense. And then, that, and, I don't know, man. And, like, they, as well, they tried to, paint Michael Myers as, like, like I said, they, like, not that long after that scene with, or I think it was before, I don't remember, but literally that scene where Corey literally goes in the sewer, he wrestles Michael Myers. He wrestles Michael Myers and takes Michael Myers' mask. What? You're like, that's insane, bro. There's no way, like, I don't know what writer or who allowed that, but that was just ridiculous. That was completely ridiculous. Especially knowing that Corey, not that long before that, was literally getting punked by some band kids. And you're telling me now he's just strong enough. He's like, he goes up to Michael Myers and he punks Michael Myers. And then he starts throwing him around and takes his mask. And they're, like, wrestling with each other, having this, like, little kiddie play fight. Like, that was just so cringy and just so, like, bro, like, what is this? Like, what am I watching right now? This is, like, almost laughable at this point. Like that's when the movie completely just dropped for me. Like it was already dropping for me at that point, but at that point it dropped completely. Like I honestly was just like, what the hell, man? Like, it's one thing to make Michael Myers weak, but to make him that weak where he's getting punked by some kid who was literally getting punked by some band kids, nah. Like that's just man, that's just I don't even know, man. That's just terrible, terrible. And you know, like I said, Michael Myers goes. Corey goes on this killing spree. There was a few good kills. Some of them were cut off screen, which I don't even know why that was even the case. I mean, there was not that many, but still, like we didn't really need off screen kills in general. Like there was no point of that. Like what was the point of that? Like I don't know. But there was only two memorable kills for me in this movie, and that was the blowtorch kill that Corey did in that junkyard. That was like, whenever I saw that, I was like, oh damn, I did not expect that. And then that other kill that Corey did with the DJ, where he was like slamming his head against the freaking counter, so hard, and then he was like bleeding, and then he like got the scissor and cut his tongue off, and his tongue was like just sitting there on the radio, on the DJ radio thing player. But I was like, oh my gosh, those two kills were memorable to me and brutal. Those were the best kills out of the whole movie. But man, and then but it's just also like Corey literally got most of the kills. Michael barely got anything. That was like pretty disappointing as well, knowing that. And one of the kills were from Corey having to assist them to kill. He had to get help from Corey to even get that kill with the officer in the sewer. Another one was tag team with that nurse, and then the final one I guess was with Corey. But Corey was already done because he had stabbed in the neck. But I guess Michael, he finished the job. He snapped his neck, so I guess you can count that as a kill. But 3 kills, and Corey got half of these kills. Like, yeah, man, that was just like that was bad. That was bad. That's just bad in my opinion. And yeah, like man, and then the fact that like I said, they literally had Corey off himself, and then Michael Myers comes, finishes the job. Well, then what was the point of focusing on Corey for half this movie? Then what was the point? What was the point? That makes no sense. Like, it really doesn't. Like, I don't know, man. It just, and like, they could have at least had like Corey, like, kind of like, I feel like what they should have done as well is they could have like left it open ended. Corey like kind of like gets away with it, while Michael is dead, and you like kind of hear Corey breathing. Even though we know that they're not going to make a sequel after this, because at this point, Blumhouse trilogy is already done with. The rights are being, exchanged, and whatnot. So, we know that they're not going to make another movie and continue off of that. But I feel like that would have just been a better ending overall. Like, Corey, he's just lurking in the background. You hear his breathing and whatnot. Like I think that would be better. I would feel like at that point there was a better use to Corey's character, at least. Even if I didn't really like the direction they went, at least, I would have liked that better, for just the Corey, he gets back up and he like disappears, and then we see him lurking, we see him breathing in the mask. That would be cool. But they basically just make him off himself, and then Michael finishes the job. Like that. That's all it was with Corey. That's all it was. Like that. Focus on the movie, half the movie on him for no reason. Killjoy Jake himself as well said that this movie is basically just a rehash of what's it called? What was that movie called again? Christine. And I haven't seen that movie, but just the way Jake was describing it, like it does. This movie does seem pretty similar to Christine, and even David Gordon Green himself was talking about like he asked John Carpenter like, is this movie a little too close to Christine? But it seems like it is because literally Corey's character is literally just a rehash of that other character from Christine, and the way like how he's being picked on, and and like all this stuff, like it was literally just right out of that. So you focus on this Corey character for nothing. Like it was just pointless. We finally get to the final fight with her and Michael, which I liked, and I thought it was good, but I just felt like it was a little rushed. It was a little rushed, but I did like it. Michael, like, but man, they kind of ruined Michael's character though, bro. Like they made him clumsy as well. Like, it's almost like he was kind of like Ghostface. But the thing with Ghostface though, you know, at least it's because we know that he's a human. Ghostface is human, so that's why he's clumsy and he's always taking damage. But Michael Myers, he's literally not just a regular human. Even if the directors tried to say that, they try to say that, but he's not. And in this movie, they literally prove that he's not as well. Even if they tried to humanize him by making him weak, they literally prove that he's not, though, with the whole him gaining strength after killing people, and that transference of evil, which I don't know if that was for sure, but it looked like it was. And then with how all of a sudden he's able to like also take the knife out so easily, and then from his hands that he had gotten from Lori, he had that knife deep into his hand, and he just randomly took that out so quickly and easily, and literally was choking Lori like it was just nothing. How would he be able to do that so easily? Especially because I'm sure that would hurt too, doing that. But hey, I guess I don't know, man. But yeah, like Michael Myers, he's not just a regular human. That's the difference, Ghostface, he is a human, so it's different. But Michael, he's not. So the fact that they made him so weak in this movie just doesn't make any sense. They made him look like a joke, honestly. I feel like even newer fans who are gonna see this movie, who probably saw this movie, they're gonna probably think of Michael Myers as a joke now because of this movie, how they portrayed him. Like that's I don't know, man. But yeah, I did like the final fight between him and Lori, and the way like the town actually wanted to make sure he's dead. Allison was like, oh, he's not dead enough, and they drag him on the car, they take him to the junkyard, they put him in that little grinder thing, and he's dead. He's dead, for good. And I like that they finally gave that conclusion that he's finally dead. But man, they gave no stakes. They literally, like, I don't know, man. They almost gave like a too much of a good ending. Like, I like that, Michael finally died for once, like he finally died for good, but they almost made this a bit of a too much good ending. Like I remember Killjoy Jake himself, before this movie came out, he was like, there's no way this movie can be just this good of an ending. Like, if when the movie comes out, I hope it has like more of a sad ending rather than just a good ending. Even if Lori does live, like, she would still have to deal with the fact that almost everyone around her died, which no one around her, with like Allison, Lindsay, Hawkins, anyone around her wasn't really in danger. They weren't killed, nor were they really ever shown to be in danger at all. There was no stakes there in general. That was just completely irrelevant. But yeah, like, like that, I don't know, man. Like, it just, they could have gave more of a bittersweet ending, you know? Like, even if Lori did win, she still would have had to deal with the fact that she literally lost everyone. I feel like that would have been a better ending, but it would be like a bittersweet ending, you know? A good ending, but kind of a bad ending, you know? Or they could have made it so that they both died, you know? But, you know, either way, I'm glad that Michael finally died, and they finally killed him. And he's not back unless they pull a Jason Goes to Hell and he like starts his spirit starts possessing people. I don't know, because it seems like he can do that now. He can just like transfer evil to other people. So I mean, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, that's basically my review on this movie. My battery's about to die. This video is probably an hour long at this point. I told you guys I was gonna be ranting for a long time. This video is gonna be long. But yeah, my overall thoughts on this movie. I like the opening scene. I like the final fight, even if it was a little rushed. I like that they finally killed off Michael. But everything else about this movie, I don't like it. I don't like, and you know, I just felt like this movie felt like a standalone film. And it would have worked better if it was exactly that, like season of the witch, you know. But it's not that. It was supposed to be a conclusion to this final trilogy, but it wasn't. And that's the problem, you know. And it felt like a standalone film. It doesn't even feel like it's part of this trilogy. This trilogy honestly felt like it went nowhere. There was no real true story in this trilogy. And it kind of just felt pointless. You know? Is Halloween Ends the worst movie? No. But is it the best? No. If I'm being honest though, it's not that high up on my list. I'm probably gonna do a ranking of this franchise soon, but it's definitely not that high up if I'm being honest. But anyways, like yeah, you know, these are just my opinions though. I don't know, man. The movie's entertaining. I will give it that as well. The movie in general, it is entertaining, and like I said, I like the concepts that they were going with at first, but the movie in itself is just convoluted and all over the place. Does not feel like a final chapter and conclusion of this trilogy. It does not, in my opinion, and you know, it sucks, man. In my opinion, I'm just like that's just how I feel. You know, I know other people see it differently, and I respect your opinion, but me personally, I just feel like this movie it could have had more to it, and there really was not much to it, man. But you know, this movie feels like a standalone film. It feels like it should have been its own thing, but it wasn't. It literally it's part of this trilogy, and it doesn't feel like it's part of this trilogy, you know. But like I said, if you like this movie, hey, I respect your opinion. I respect it. Me personally, though, the only reason I even give it a 5 out of 10 is just because I'm trying to be generous. You know, I did like the opening scene. You know, I did like the final fight between Michael and Lori. I did like the fact that they finally killed off Michael. And the movie, you know, like I said, it is entertaining, I guess, but as a movie as a whole, I just don't like it. I don't like it. And, you know, you know, that's just me, though, you know. It would have worked better if this was a standalone film. But it's not. And that's just the problem for me. But anyways, these are just my opinions. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Did you guys enjoy Halloween Ends? Did you guys enjoy this video? What do you guys think about anything I had to say in this video? This video is already long enough. I'm kind of tired from talking. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Give a like and subscribe to this channel if you are new and if you enjoyed this video. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.